Good day, everybody. We have a conflict of interest. Yes, a conflict of interest in this book right here, the Constitution of the United States of America. I'm going to read you, okay, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republic form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of legislature or of executive domestic violence. Okay? Now I said we have a conflict. Here's the conflict. Amendment 4. The rights of the people to be secured in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizure shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause. Okay? But it does leave an opening here. It says against unreasonable search and seizure. So now we look at the TSA. What do we have? We have a problem here. Is this an unreasonable, a so-called enemy? Now, what is the real problem here? Well, let's think for a few minutes. If the people are found to be carrying explosives, if the people are found to be carrying drugs, can the United States prosecute since they did the search? And wait a minute. Let's see now. Let's take a look. Remember the Amanda rights that a police officer has to do before he arrests, when he arrests you? Says that anything you say, do, or stuff shall be used against you in a court of law. That is so when the police officer arrests you, if you tell them what you did and confess to your crime, they can use it. But this search, no. If they find a terrorist with explosives, if they did a search, wait a minute. According to the way that reads, the precedent set by that, they cannot arrest him. They can confiscate the ordnance, or if they found somebody with tons of drugs, they can confiscate the drugs, but they can't because they didn't tell them. And it's the government doing the search, the actual people who will prosecute them. So we have a problem here with that alone. So every time a TSA agent does a search, he needs to or she needs to state that they are looking for ordnance, contraband, illegal substances, and or weapons. And if found, can be used against you in a court of law. That needs to be said right up front before any of these searches, even the scan. Post the sign over them. Otherwise, everything found cannot be used against the individual in a court of law. That's the first thing as constitutionalists. Unless that is done, you are actually protecting the criminals. You're protecting the terrorists. So that needs to be done. Now, also as a constitutionalist, we're looking at these inspections and saying, okay, we got a conflict of interest in the Constitution. How can we go along with the Constitution and still provide the safety for the nation as in Article 4 of the main body of the Constitution, and yet adhere to the Fourth Amendment? Well, talking with several people, they made comments, and I have to agree with them. The government doing the inspections does make it go against the Fourth Amendment. I can't disagree. The problem is not the inspections. It's who's doing the inspection. The TSA can set the regulations, but they cannot do the inspections because they're part of the government. Anything found can be used against people. No, right now they can't be used against the people because it's not declared up front. But the purpose is to block ordinance and stuff from going on. By the TSA doing the inspections, it's unconstitutional according to the Fourth Amendment, but yet constitutional according to Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. Very interesting little fact there, isn't it? So what can we do to make it in complete compliance of the Constitution? The TSA should be like the Food Drug Administration. The TSA should be responsible for the security of travel in the nation. They set up the regulations. the airports, the bus terminals, the train stations, they should be actually doing the inspections. They should be doing the checks. Then it becomes constitutional, both with the Fourth Amendment and Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. As it is now, there's a conflict of interest which makes it unconstitutional. And I have to agree with everybody who says that this is a search without warrant. But right now, it's so badly done that it actually legally protects the criminals, the terrorists. Because as it's done, without declaring what you're looking for, it becomes unusable in a court of law in this country. Period. So you are actually protecting the criminals. I mean, right now, anybody who wants to smuggle drugs can get in there, get on there. You find the drugs, government. Guess what? You can't prosecute them. Why? Because you didn't tell them you were looking for it. You're only there to protect the safety of the people. Therefore, if you find the ordnance, you find the drugs, you have to take it away, but you cannot arrest them. Interesting little fact there, unless it's declared up front. Now, to make it complete with the Constitution, the TSA can't be doing the inspections. They must be like, the FDA. They go around inspecting. Of course, they do a very piss-poor job, excuse the expression, of doing a food safety, but they go around enforcing food safety. But they aren't the ones who pack the food. They aren't the ones who make the food. They aren't the ones who devise the food. They're the ones that enforce the laws and regulations. The TSA should be the same way. The TSA should be setting up the rules and regulations. The airports, the train terminals, the bus stations, they should be performing all inspections. Period. Then it is in conformance with the Constitution, both Article 4, Section 4, and the Fourth Amendment. And as long as the TSA is doing it, there should be something there posted or said to each every individual that while they're going through this, they are searching for explosives, drugs, contraband, weapons, etc., legal, illegal, everything down the line. Smuggling, whatever you want to put it. But unless it's stated, you cannot prosecute by the law. Just like the police officers need to say, after they arrest you, the usual thing, do not speak, for everything you say, do, or etc., etc., can be used against you in a court of law. They need signs saying that, if found, blah, 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 can be used against you in a court of law. Otherwise, they can't. Because it's just a general search. And there's nothing declaring anything. And you are legally, the TSA, protecting the actual terrorists and criminals because it's not being stated. Whether it's understood or not, it's irrelevant. It's not being stated. So, people, two things need to be done about these inspections. One, take them away from the TSA and give them to the airports. Otherwise, we have a conflict of interest between the Section 4, Article 4, Section 4 of the body of the Constitution, and the Fourth Amendment. And it needs to be stated what you are actually looking for, or when found, cannot be used in a court of law. These items need to be corrected. Us as constitutionalists, this is our stand. This is the reason why we look at everything. We know something must be done. We see, is it done constitutionally or is it not? According to the Constitution, we have a conflict of interest now. The Section 4, Article 4, Section 4 says government can do this. Fourth Amendment says the government cannot. To make it so that the government can do it is to have the airport do it. Therefore, the government's not doing the search. To make it so that the items found can be used in a court of law, it must be stated prior to, even if it's just posted in front of every inspection place, or physically stated. It must be present. So the person going through there knows they can be arrested for the items found or not at discretion of the law. So this is JD. This is the constitutionalist stance on these inspections by the TSA. TSA can set the regulations, but they should not be doing the actual inspections. The airports, the train stations, the bus stations, and wherever mass transit is should be performing the inspections, and then the police and the federal government can enforce the laws. But as it is now, we have a conflict of interest, and as it is now, cannot be used in a court of law because it's not being stated. You all have a nice day. Remember, the Amanda rights had to be said because even though they knew the cop could go in court and say what they said, they had to declare it up front. Same thing goes here. The Amanda rights go into effect here. Unless it's stated, it cannot be used in a court of law. And also, it should not be the inspection should not be done by the TSA, should be done by somebody other than the TSA. They should set up the regulations, the rules, and how it is to be done. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is JD. That is the constitutional way to do it. You have a nice day. Thank you. And for those who want to check out the Constitutionalist Party, go to www.theconstitutionalistparty, spelled CONSTITUTIONIST party.com, and check us out. If you wish to join, feel free. I have several emails I have to send out to people who wish to join, and for you people, I want you to know I will be sending them out. And I do very strongly enjoy reading your emails, and I do answer most of them if I can. Your emails that you signed up on the party will be answered within the next couple of days. And you will be asked if you'd like to become a member, and certain ones who signed on, like the young lady who wants to do the editing of all my writing, my answer to her is yes, wholeheartedly, and I would like for her to join. And also I have a few other people that I'd like to join to help being the founding fathers of the Constitutionalist Party. You have a nice day. Thank you. This is JD.